Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so have you ever had that incredibly haunting, just totally disorienting feeling of waking up one morning and realizing the life you're living suddenly doesn't actually feel like yours anymore? It's this heavy, quiet realization. You open your eyes, and the entire architecture of your daily routine suddenly feels like it belongs to a total stranger. Well, today, we're going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to fundamentally resolve it. Usually, this whole thing kicks off with a single question that just begins to scream in the background of your mind. Maybe it was triggered by a milestone birthday, one that arrived like a quiet verdict. Maybe it was a sudden ending to a relationship or a career. Or honestly, maybe we're just staring on a spreadsheet on a random Tuesday and thought, wait, what is the point of literally any of this? I really want to speak directly to you for a second here, because if you are feeling this, you know exactly how isolating it is. I mean, objectively, everything in your life might be totally fine. Your job is fine, your routine is fine, the people around you, fine. From the outside, everything looks perfectly functional. Yet something underneath it all has fundamentally shifted. And man, once you notice it, you simply cannot unfeel it. You basically feel like a stranger walking through the rooms of your own life. When this hollowness hits, your very first instinct is probably to reach for a medical label, right? You assume, oh, I have burnout, or I'm depressed, or I'm just malfunctioning somehow. But I want to offer you a completely different, much sharper diagnosis. Stop reaching for those labels. Seriously, put them down. You are having an existential crisis. Your psychological defenses have finally collapsed. And this isn't a breakdown at all. It is actually your very first, completely honest moment. To really understand why, we've got to look at the work of Irvin Yalom. He's a renowned psychiatrist who spent over 60 years, 6 decades, sitting with people in this exact agonizing pain. And his conclusion completely validates what you are going through. He says this vertigo isn't a sickness. It's a profound psychological awakening. Yalom identified 4 structural truths, what he calls the ultimate concerns, or the givens of existence, that causes intense vertigo. Section 1, the anatomy of the crisis. The 4 givens of existence. Let's break these down. The first, and honestly most obvious given, is death. And I don't mean that as some abstract, distant concept. I mean it as a deeply personal, irreversible fact. Intellectually, sure, we all know we're going to die, yet most of us live in absolute defiance of our mortality. We act as if the truly important things, writing that book, repairing that broken relationship, just living authentically, can always just wait for some magical, better time in the future. The second given is freedom. Now, hold on. We aren't talking about the political or societal freedom of choice we usually celebrate. No, this is the terrifying psychological reality of having absolutely no predetermined script for your life. You are radically responsible for constructing your own existence. There is no manual, and that radical responsibility, it's a weight so incredibly heavy that we often just outsource it. We hand the pen over to the expectations of our parents, our culture, or our peers, just so we don't have to carry the burden of choosing ourselves. The third is existential isolation. This is the really hard realization that you are fundamentally alone inside your own subjective experience. You can be deeply, beautifully connected to others, but no matter how much someone loves you, they cannot follow you all the way inside your own mind. You, and you alone, experience your consciousness. And finally, the fourth given is meaninglessness. This is the stark, cold fact that the universe does not come with a purpose pre-installed. It doesn't just hand you a reason for being here. Think about it. Any meaning you've been living by up until this crisis was highly likely constructed by early, unquestioned stories. Stories you absorbed before you were even old enough to critically evaluate them. So, your current crisis, it's simply the moment these 4 truths finally became visible to you. For years, the sheer busyness of your life, your daily goals, your professional roles, those strict routines, they acted as a highly effective shield keeping these terrifying truths at bay. But now, that machinery has literally broken down. And naturally, your instinct is to make the pain stop by getting even busier or by numbing yourself with distractions. But listen to me, I have to warn you, that is the exact wrong move. Numbing the pain right now only defers the problem, and it defers it with interest. Section 2, the protocol, healing the crisis. Let's look at how we actually fix this. The absolute crucial point here is that we must move from just passively experiencing raw symptoms to actively engaging in a protocol for recovery. Step 1 is simple, but yeah, it's difficult. Stop running and turn around to face the anxiety. Then, step 2 is where the real work begins. Name the exact concern at the center of your storm. Which of those 4 givens we just talked about is screaming the loudest? Once you actually name it, it transforms from a vague, haunting presence into a workable, tangible problem. And this brings us to Yalom's most radical, beautifully profound proposition. Death is not the enemy of a meaningful life, it is the condition of one. Just really think about that for a second. The terror you are feeling right now isn't actually about the literal moment of your life ending. Not really. It's the fear of not having truly lived. It's the devastating possibility of arriving at the very end and realizing you were there for the whole thing, but you somehow missed the actual experience because you were just too busy performing for the expectations of everyone else. So, I want to challenge you right now to use your finitude, your limited time on this earth, as a clarifying lens. Reevaluate exactly how you are spending your days. Ask yourself this: given that my time is strictly limited, what in my life is obviously irrelevant but I've been treating it as highly urgent? And on the flip side, what is obviously important yet I've been treating it as entirely optional? This simple comparison will instantly highlight exactly where your life has gone off script.
Section 3, The Cure, Authoring Your Existence. Let's talk about the way forward.
This brings us to a hard but absolutely necessary truth. The old life you were living before this crisis, it's gone. You cannot unsee the givens of existence. But here is the magnificent flip side to that. The exact same radical freedom that allowed your unchosen life to accumulate is exactly what makes a consciously chosen life possible now. You are the sole author of your life, and that authorship is non-transferable. Meaning is not something you just find out there, like a train running on a set schedule. It must be actively created through deep relationships, work you actually value, and your own creative acts. The ultimate takeaway from Yalom's work is this: the silence of the universe, the fact that it doesn't hand you a pre-packaged meaning, isn't proof that there's no point to your life. Not at all. It is simply evidence that the pen is in your hand. You have stopped being a passive spectator. That hollowness you felt, it was just the clearing of the stage. Now you have to decide what you are going to write. So I want to leave you with this final thought today. Do not look away from this crisis. Lean into it. I'd love for you to confront this head-on. Head down into the comments right now and write down the one question you've been most afraid to ask yourself. Just naming it is literally the first step to authoring your new reality. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Be sure to subscribe because our next explainer is already waiting to take you even further as we map out the complete architecture of the self. I'll see you then.